The court of King Henry VIII was a theatre of silks and secrets, a world of glittering ritual balanced on a blade. It was not a place for the faint of heart. Beauty could be used as a weapon, wit a curse. One could dance in the great hall at noon and be dragged to the Tower by dusk. For women, particularly those in the Queen's household, life was not lived, it was performed, and the audience always was watching. Now, I'm going to create a character here so that we can look at a day in the life of a lady in the court of Henry VIII. And for this instance, that lady will be known as Lady Eleanor Brandon. She's fictional, but a rather plausible figure, noble-born and clever, serving Queen Anne Boleyn in the spring of 1536, when the scent of cut flowers masked the stench of her fear. Her existence is woven into the Queen's, and in that connection lies both privilege and peril. Now, a day for a lady in the court begins first before light. A servant enters her chamber at Hampton Court Palace, bearing coals for the brazier. Outside, the Thames coils in fog. The court is not yet awake, but Lady Eleanor's day begins with choices that could kill her. She dons her smock, plain, bleached linen, and then the kirtle, stiff with embroidered pomegranates, a subtle nod to the late Queen Catherine of Aragon. A risk? Perhaps, but Eleanor has also stitched Anne Boleyn's badge, the falcon alighting on a Tudor rose, into her girdle, as insurance. Over this she pulls a gown of black velvet slashed with crimson satin. It is bold but calculated. Black was Anne's favourite colour, an echo of her French years and her preference for drama. Crimson was the colour of martyrdom and of blood. The French hood, the symbol of Anne's continental sophistication, crowns her look. It frames the face and hides the hair. Less modest than the English gable hood, and once deemed scandalous, Eleanor wears it with care. The last woman to wear her hood too provocatively was dismissed in disgrace. Clothing at court is a language. One does not merely dress. One declares allegiance, hints at favour, signals defiance. In 1535 it was noted that Jane Seymour, plain Jane, had taken to wearing modest English styles even while serving Queen Anne, and within a year she would be Queen herself. Eleanor enters the Queen's presence chamber just after sunrise. The Queen is being dressed by her women, her dark eyes gleaming, her wit as sharp as the jewelled bodkin in her hair. Anne Boleyn is not a woman who forgets betrayal or a compliment. Eleanor helps her select jewels for the day, a necklace of table-cut diamonds, perhaps the one Henry gifted her in happier years, and a girdle of pearls. She reads aloud from a devotional text, possibly one by William Tyndale, whose forbidden Bible translation Anne secretly supports. But even in here, in the Queen's innermost circle, danger simmers. Lady Rochford, Anne's sister-in-law, smiles too readily. Jane Seymour, quiet in the background, blushes whenever the King enters the room. The Queen herself is anxious. The miscarriage in January, rumoured to be a son, has chilled her relationship with Henry, and Eleanor feels it in every clipped command and nervous glance. At midday, Eleanor joins the court in the great hall. Trumpets sound, dishes are paraded in, spiced venison, gilded marchpane, sweetmeats sculpted into swans, and Henry sits beneath a canopy, red-faced, laughing too loudly, and Anne sits at his side, her face a mask of brilliance. Court women, like Eleanor, must glide between conversations, offering wit without impropriety, grace without arrogance. They are judged as much as their posture, as their pedigree. One wrong word can bring ruin. She remembers the fate of Elizabeth Bessie Blount, who bore the king a son in 1519 and was cast aside. or Mary Boleyn, Anne's own sister, whose affair with Henry earned her little more than gossip and disgrace. Even Eleanor's distant cousin, Margaret Pole, Countess of Salisbury, once governess to Princess Mary, has fallen from grace. Her son, Reginald Pole, opposes the king's religious policies from abroad, and now the family lives under a cloud of suspicion. Whispers float through the hall. The king has given Jane Seymour a jewelled brooch. He lingered over her hand at the last masque, and he no longer looks at Anne. In the afternoon, Eleanor kneels in the royal chapel. Her prayers are whispered, her hands are still, but even here choices are perilous. Does she carry the Book of Hours gifted by the Queen, a volume known to contain reformist annotations, or does she cross herself in the old way? Is her devotion too papist, or not papist enough? Anne's support of reformers like Thomas Cranmer and her patronage of evangelical texts puts her household under scrutiny. Women like Anne Askew, soon to be tortured for her Protestant views, begin their journey with small choices, whispered prayer, contrabanded books, tucked beneath pillows. Eleanor says nothing. You see, silence is survival. As dusk descends, Eleanor returns to her chamber. She removes her gown, her hood, the jewels, and each item is unpinned like a secret undone. The walls of the palace are thick, but not thick enough to stop rumours. Then there's a knock. Her heart stutters. Is it a summons from the Queen? A message from Cromwell? A warrant? She recalls the story of Anne's arrest. On the 2nd of May 1536 she was playing cards in her chamber when the king's men arrived, and she laughed, thinking it was a jest. By nightfall she was in the Tower. Her ladies, Margaret Wyatt, Lady Shelton and Lady Rochford, were interrogated. Some testified, others betrayed. Tonight it's merely a note. The Queen requires Eleanor's attendance early. A new masque is planned. The king will be there. Eleanor lies awake, eyes fixed on the darkened canopy above her bed. She dreams of scaffolds. In Henry's court, survival is an art, and women are expected to be silent, graceful, obedient, but never too dull and never too clever. The ones who learn to walk the knife's edge may last a little longer, but none are truly safe. Not Anne Boleyn, whose wit outshone her discretion. Not Catherine Howard, whose youth led her to the block at barely 17. Not even Jane Seymour, who gave Henry the son he craved and then died 2 weeks later. Lady Eleanor, fictional though she is, embodies them all. The caution of a servant, the ambition of a courtier, the fear of a woman who knows the price of being seen. In Henry VIII's court, to be a woman was to live in velvet, with the gallows never far behind. Thank you for watching, and to support our channel, please make sure to subscribe. And again, thank you so much for watching.